In this video, I'm going to show you how to build a SAM TypeScript project using the aws-sam-webpack plugin. I'll start by creating a new SAM project using the sam init command with -r node.js 10.x to set the runtime to node.js 10 and -n demo to create it in a new folder called demo. Once the project has been created, I'll open that up in Visual Studio Code. The project that gets set up has a template.yaml in the root folder, as well as a folder for a lambda called hello world. I'll open up a terminal window and use npm init to create a package.json in my project's root, just accepting all of the default settings. I can then use npm install to install Webpack, Webpack CLI, TypeScript, TS Loader, aws-sam-webpack-plugin, the types for AWS Lambda, and the types for Node. I'll save those as development dependencies. You then need to install your project dependencies using npm install. This will typically be the Aws Sdk, and you'll probably want to add source map support. Once I have that done, I need to create a webpack config.js file. I'm just going to copy the webpack.config.js file from the GitHub README, and that needs to be in the project's root, not in the hello world folder. In my config, I'm including the aws-sam plugin and creating a new instance of the object. I'm telling it to use the entry function on the SAM plugin to return my entry points. This will look at the template.yaml file to figure out all my entry points for me. It's going to place the output into a new folder called aws-sam/build, and it's going to put the output then into a folder with the name of the entry, which will be the same as the name of the function in my template.yaml file and the file called app.js. I've got source maps enabled as well, which you'll want. I've been told by AWS that it's recommended to always include the AWS SDK so that you have the latest version with all of the functions you need. If you're not doing that, you can conditionally include it using the externals and checking the node env to see whether you're in development or production. The reason you need to do this with node 10.x is that the Docker image for SAM local does not include the AWS SDK, while production Lambda does. I've got my loader in there for TypeScript, and finally I've added the plugins. I'll save my changes there. I'm then going to create a tsconfig.json file. Again, I'm just going to copy the example straight from the README file for the aws-sam-webpack plugin. And finally, I'm going to copy some scripts that I'll put into my package.json. Once I've completed that, I'll need to do a little bit of a restructure on my project. I'm going to create a source folder, and I'm going to move my hello world into there. I don't want the tests because I want to keep this simple. And I don't need my npm ignore file or the package.json that was created by the SAM template. My tsconfig is apparently in the wrong folder. That should be in the project root. Once I've completed that, I'll go to my template.yaml and tell it that the code URI for my hello world function is actually source/hello world. The rest of it will stay the same. Finally, I can now build the project using node env equals development, npm run script build. Once it's completed, it's created a couple of things for me automatically. The first is this .aws-sam folder and the build folder in it, along with my template.yaml file and my hello world function. This is the same output that you get if you were to execute sam build, so the output is compatible with that, and I can then immediately run my sam package and my sam deploy like I normally would. It also creates a VS Code folder and a launch.json file, and this contains the debugging configuration for VS Code. To see the debugging in action, I'm going to go to my source, and I'm going to go down to the end of my function, and I'll add a breakpoint on the return. I can then go back to the console, and I can execute a sam local invoke -d 5858 for the port number -e, and I've got an event.json in the project root that was created by Sam, and I need it to run the hello world function. This will launch my Lambda in debug mode. If I switch over to the debugger, you'll see that it's automatically created the configuration for my hello world function. If you have any other functions, it will create those as well. And every time you run build, it will regenerate this with any new functions. I can click the green arrow to start debugging. My code will execute, and we can see that it stopped on the breakpoint. And if I move my mouse over the top of it, we get the debug output, so we can see what's going on. And I'll just continue that so that it completes, and you get the output from Sam Local.